everybody. I'd like to welcome you to today's Board of Public Works and meeting for December 12th. Roll call, please. Here.
Here.
Are there any conflict of interest statements?
No, ma'am.
Moving on, approval of the minutes of the meeting of December the 5th, 2024.
I recommend approval.
And I concur. Number 5, bid openings. The first set of bid openings will be for the Memorial Park redevelopment. This is from Dyer Construction Co., located in Dyer, Indiana. Okay. I'll have the bid bond. Jeff's not here, so none of this stuff is tabbed.
496.
Yeah, but I don't see it yet.
You don't see it.
Oh. The bid bond. Bid bond. Nope. Oh, Kevin, I don't see it.
Yeah, if you don't see it, I would just announce the bid amount, and then we'll send it to both engineering and law department and to Structure Point as our consultant for review and tabulation.
Here's the Form 96 here. It's not tabbed. There's the Form 96, I have that now.
Okay.
And then, let's see if the non-collusion affidavit is attached here. Non-collusion affidavit and the bid proposal. Okay, the overall bid for Dyer Construction is $3,193,818.14. Repeating, $3,193,818.14. The next bid is from Gary Material Supply, LLC, out of Gary, Indiana. I have the bid proposal. Oh, this one's all tabbed. Thank you. The bid bond. The Form 96. As well as the non-collusion affidavit. Thank you. This bid amount is $3,291,082.72. Repeating, $3,291,082.72. Yes, 72.
Yeah, it's clear. Okay.
The next bid is from Grimmer Construction, Inc., out of Highland, Indiana. The bid proposal. The non-collusion affidavit. The Form 96. And the bid bond. This bid comes in at $4,700,000. $4,078,585.50. Repeating, $4,078,585.50. This must be the last one for the Memorial Park project. This is from Oath Inc. out of Maryville, Indiana. Golf. Okay, all right. They have the bid proposal. Another one is tab. Thank you for tabbing this one as well. The bid bond. $196. There's the Form 96. And the non-collusion affidavit. This bid comes in at $4,617,131.60. Repeating, $4,617,131.60.
Thank you to the bidders. Good morning to the board. We'd ask that you refer this to our engineering consultant for review and tabulation and recommendation.
I recommend that we set this, or send this to
American Structure Point.
For review and tabulation.
And I concur.
Thank you.
Thank you.
The next bid opening is for 165th Street and State Line Road intersection improvements. The first bid is from Milestone Contractors LP out of Griffith, Indiana. Away we go. Have the bid bond, the Form 96, the non-collusion affidavit, and the bid proposal. Yeah. This bid comes in at, sorry, I lost it. Okay. $405,611.88. Repeating, $405,611.88. 88. The next bid is from Reith Riley out of Gary, Indiana. Have the bid bond, the Form 96 here. And the non-collusion affidavit and bid proposal. This bid comes in at $321,175. Repeating, $321,175. Last one for this one. This one is from Gary Up Construction Co. out of Gary, Indiana. I have the bid proposal, the bid bond, the non-collusion affidavit, and the non-collusion affidavit. This bid comes in at $200, I'm sorry, is that right? Give me one moment, please. The right page. Yes, $252,500. Repeating, $252,500.
Again, I'd ask that you refer this to our consultant, in this case, First Group Engineering, for review, tabulation, and recommendation.
Thank you.
I recommend approval.
And I concur. The last opening is the request for proposals for street lighting and signal maintenance. This is just a request for a bid proposal. This one comes from Midwestern Electric out of East Chicago, Indiana. They do have a Form 96 attached. Dean, there is a dollar amount on here. Do you want that read? Oh, sure. Okay. The amount attached to this proposal is $170,094. $170,094.
And that was for street lighting?
Yeah, this is for the signal.
For signal.
Yep, this is for the signal. And then for the lighting, the Form 96 states $460,898.40. $460,898.40.
In this case, it's a request for proposal, so a little slightly different than a public works bid. So we'd ask, this was solicited by the engineering department, if you could refer it to engineering for review and recommendation. I appreciate that.
I recommend we send it to engineering for review and tabulation.
And I concur.
Thank you.
Thank you, sir.
All right. Number 6, matters from other department heads or their representatives.
Good morning to the board. We had some mix-up on some notices on my end. I just want to find out if anybody is here on 1047 Moss. Mr. Jose Jesus Ramirez Martinez, anybody here on that?
I don't know if they're here, but.
Okay, if they're not, that's okay, because I think it's also set for a status on January 16th, but if you want to give an update.
Yeah, they pulled permits less than a month ago, so that project has not even gotten close to needing any inspections. I'm sure they're still doing demolition and clean out.
Okay, so Linda, we have this set for the 16th of January? Okay, because their rehab agreement expires the 17th of January,
Okay.
so we're going to have it for 1/16, and we'll
Okay.
ask for an
Hopefully by
update.
that time, we'll have some inspections.
Okay, great.
Okay, so no action here.
No action, thank you to the
Alright.
board. The other matter I have that's set, or that was needed to be set for today was 5125-27 Homan. Is anyone here at that?
No, I spoke to them
address?
yesterday. Told them they didn't need to be here because I spoke to
You
them.
told them they needed to be here today?
No, I told them they didn't need to be here because I spoke to them.
Didn't need to be here today?
Yeah.
Okay.
So I did speak with the, can't think of his name again, the gentleman with the,
There was, well, Mr. Ruiz was here,
Mr. Ruiz is the current owner of the building.
Correct.
With the church.
always
And-
has been, yeah.
And then there was a potential buyer,
Darren Willis,
and that's who I spoke with yesterday. They want to bring the Masonic Lodge to
correct.
that building. The demo inspection was completed in our conversation yesterday. The church is being, or the building is being donated to the Masonic Lodge. They hope to get that paperwork cleared up hopefully in the next month with the holidays. And then once they get the building in their name, they'll be looking for a rehab agreement.
Okay, so we should set this for the 16th of January?
Yes.
And make sure that a letter goes out, that Madeline will make sure the letters go out for the 16th of January on both of these, please. So you told them yesterday they didn't need to come?
Right, I did speak with them yesterday and told
Okay.
Mr. Wilson he didn't need to be here because we
Okay.
spoke.
All right, I recommend that we set these for January 16, 2025, and have a letter sent out.
I concur. Okay. Moving on to letter A, correspondence received from Bernard Grisolia, Fire Chief, requesting the approval of the letter of retirement from Captain Robert Schallenkamp, who has served the citizens of Hammond for 30 years, effective January 5th, 2025.
I recommend approval of the fire chief's request.
And I concur. Letter B, correspondence received from Milestone Contractors offering the city an extension of their current pricing for work to be completed in 2025.
This is our annual resurfacing contract. Spoke with the city controller. She asked that we follow up with the contractor to see if they'd be willing to extend their pricing an additional year. They are. We'd ask for your approval of their agreement to continue services through resurfacing.
I recommend approval.
And I concur.
Thank you.
Letter C, request from Councilman Barry Tyler requesting to make the one-way on the 5800 block of Erie permanent and requesting residential parking signs submitted for approval.
Yeah, these signs have been up for some time. This is just to make the temporary action of the board permanent, so then we can add it to the ordinance that's currently before the council. Dean?
So it's an existing one-way street. I'm not clear on the councilman's request. There were requests for residential parking signs in the area. I thought those were installed. So
Is it one way on the schedules?
it's already one way. I mean, it's been one way for
No, but
many
Linda
years.
said it's not in the schedules in the,
I don't know that for sure, right? I didn't.
2021. So are you saying you have some sort of permanent that it was one? Because what happened was 3 years ago, a gentleman came, he lived on the street. It was during the time of the construction of the high school. And he had complained that the kids were going the other, kind of like hanging out there after school, whatever, and it was becoming a problem on his street. So the board made it one way, I believe, temporarily one way at that time. So you're saying you believe it was one way prior to that?
I thought it was. I could be mistaken.
Did we
So-
check the schedules to see if it was? You did.
And it, okay.
Okay.
So
So anyway,
We
at the very
concur.
least, I don't think it harms anything, Dean,
I
to
agree.
clean it up and
I
to
agree.
do what our request originally was today, which was to make it one-way permanent and to make the residential parking permanent. So
Yep.
that's the request of the board.
and I support that request.
Okay, thank you. So if we could do that, that'd be great, and then we would amend the council ordinance as well.
All right. I recommend that we make this a permanent one-way and the residential parking.
And I concur. Okay, number 8, matters from board members.
No, ma'am.
Okay. Number 9, new business. Amendment with LexisNexis for the law department submitted for approval.
Request is to be approved as submitted. It's just a legal research contract that comes up every few years. I think they increased it about 7%.
I recommend approval.
And I concur. Letter B, request for rental registration hearing submitted for approval.
I recommend we set this for December 19th, 2024.
And I concur. Plat for MRGG LLC addition submitted for approval.
Good evening.
Yes, sir. Mr.
Good morning. Hi. Yeah, this is centered on Sherman and Summer Streets, immediately east of where they meet Indianapolis Boulevard. My boss, Brian Poland, Director of City Planning, have been working with Nancy Riley of Tarenga and, I want to get his name right, Rob Tepperman of MRGG LLC. There was some alley vacations, some cleans up of lots and things like that. It's pretty standard. So,
I recommend approval.
And I concur.
thank you.
Thank you.
Letter D, notice of violation hearing on property located at 1633 through 37 Roberts Avenue.
Good morning. So this was originally Chris's file. However, he had to be out of the office today for a family concern. So he and I inspected the property here at 1633 through 37 Roberts. The rear structure, which was currently being occupied as a two-unit structure with a 4-unit in the front building. During the inspection, we determined that the basement unit in the rear building failed to meet the minimum ceiling height requirement in various habitable rooms. There were no permits issued based on our permit history to split the rear structure into 2 units. And then there was also fire separation issues with a center staircase which led from the main floor unit directly into the basement unit. So based on the records and the results of the inspection, it was determined that the rear structure should be occupied as a single-family home. The property management company has already taken measures to begin removing the unit, and the tenant was asked to they helped them find another place to go. But I would just ask the board affirm our findings and the removal of the basement unit at this rear structure at 1633 through 37 Roberts.
Okay. I recommend approval of the removal of the basement.
And I concur.
All right, thank you.
Nick, you need these back? We have one.
No, so a copy's supposed to, stay with it.
Okay,
We
okay.
will just get a copy of the signed findings and decisions.
Okay.
Thank
you. Letter E, Second Amendment to the Master Services and Purchasing Agreement with Axon Enterprise, Inc., submitted for approval.
Good morning again to the board. This is the body cam and Fusus agreement. I've reviewed the amendment. Basically, it's the terms and conditions are going to stay the same. This is just a merger between Axon and Fusus, and they've requested this. I've reviewed it. It's a 5-year agreement, and a 5-year amendment to the agreement. And I have also discussed this with the city controller, who has budgeted for these amounts over the next 5 years, or will budget for the next 5 years.
I recommend approval.
And I concur. Right, let's see, almost there. Number 10, old business. Letter A, status for 7235 through 41 Calumet.
So I believe that since last time, you recall, this is the residential, used to be residential / commercial. Mr. Peterson shows up sometimes for this. Nick produced a covenant draft over to the law department. That was, I reviewed it, edited it, and sent it off to Mr. Peterson. I don't know if we've got it back yet. Okay, so if we could please set this over for 30 days or so. If we could do that 16th, I guess, again, on January, that'd be great. And then, Linda, can we just make sure that they get notice of the hearing? Okay.
I recommend we set this for status for January 16, 2025.
And I concur. Number 11, meeting open to the public.
Good morning.
Good morning.
My name is Sergio Cavillo. I own a business here in Hesville, it's Doggy Details Grooming. I was here maybe over a month ago.
What's the name of the business again, sir?
Doggy Details Grooming.
Okay.
I was here maybe over a month ago to appeal my fees and my yearly. They tried to charge me like 2-3 years that I wasn't there. I was only trying to pay for the one. And it's still on the form that I still owe for the other 2 years, like if I never came here, basically. I already paid my up to current year and everything, turned in all my documents, did my fingerprint and everything. And they said, well, you got to go back in front of the board. So I was like, okay.
I think that was the form you handed me last week. I wasn't.
Okay.
I don't have any information.
Can we set this for another date? Okay. Sir, would you be able to come back on next week? Because we don't have any information in front of us and we'd like to.
Same day, same time, but just next week?
Yes.
Yeah, that's no
Okay,
problem.
so we'll just
That's fine.
have everything together. And this is for, what's the address to the building?
2824 East, 173rd Street, Hammond.
And your name is Sergio Cavillo?
Cavillo, yes.
Okay. All right, for Doggy Details and
Doggy Details
Grooming. This
Grooming.
is regarding your business license late fees.
Correct.
Okay.
All right. I recommend we set this for December 19, 2024.
And I concur.
Got
Okay.
it. Thank you.
sir.
Have a good one.
Anybody else from the audience?
Yes.
Okay.
Good morning.
Morning, sir.
Morning.
My name is Anthony Jones, and I'm with Centier Bank. And I'm here to appeal to the Hammond government about our business license. We have normally mailed our business license fee.
Go ahead, I'm just trying to recall what happened last week. Go ahead, I'm listening.
Can I address that
Yes.
statement? We received a letter dated November 22nd. We received that letter postmarked November 23rd, indicating that we should be here December 5th, and we received it December 4th. So I reached out to the department and requested a continuance, which is why I'm here today. We've mailed checks to the city of Hammond, and I spoke to a very helpful lady by the name of Lisa. She was trying to work with me diligently on this, and I was seeking to present her copies of the checks that we did mail in order to avoid the late fees. Due to medical attention that was for me, I wasn't able to coordinate properly, timely to present those documents that we have in order to not request another verbal extension over the phone, which is why I showed today. Because we do have information that the checks were generated, and unfortunately, they weren't received. I have nothing
They
about that.
were they cash, sir?
I'm gonna look it up now because I had an associate.
Nick?
Yeah, so I think when this came out last week, we did have, it was for a few years that were owed. But I have the file downstairs with the findings and decisions for you guys to sign. If you want me to run down there and grab it real quick, or we could set it over where we could present, what information we have.
Would it be better if you all talk together before, to maybe we don't have to come back before the board? Would it be better?
Well,
or
I
would you
mean,
like to-
I wouldn't have the ability to waive a late fee for
Okay.
him. Or if Kevin would prefer to have it forwarded there, they could work out an arrangement, because typically when we have multiple years like that,
Right.
that's what we would
forward
do.
to
But
certain-
I don't,
yeah.
I would make sure that I want to give him an opportunity, to plead his concerns.
Yeah, it seems like to me that, we already had a hearing last week?
Yes.
Yeah, so, it seems to me that like he's giving good cause to have the board at least address it again. I know that in my conversation with the controller, she'd prefer that the, business license matters be dealt with either here or downstairs with Lisa. So, for the most part, we're not waiving, but it sounds like there's a little more to it than this.
Right.
So if we could reset it maybe for next week, and then that way Santier can present kind of the new evidence that he wasn't able to present on the 5th.
Mr. Jones, would you be able to come back next week at this same time?
Without question,
Okay.
Yes.
Do we need to send you any kind of reminder, or we got it?
no, this
Okay.
is important.
Okay.
Because we don't want, we've been a beacon of financial assistance in this community for quite some time.
Okay,
And we've never failed in obtaining or paying our business license.
okay.
And now because we've hit a snag, we're faced with that, and we want to avoid that at all costs, if at all possible.
Okay, so bring all your documentation and everything back next week. We'll be here
Okay.
Thursday at 9 a.m.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
Have a great
I
rest of your
recommend we
day.
set this for status for December 19th, 2024.
I concur.
Anybody else?
That's it.
Chris? I recommend adjournment.
And I concur.